What is up, everyone? In today's video, I'm going to give you 6 guns that I think you should use at least before Season 4 ends and we go into Season 5. Um, Heads up, they are all guns from MW2 and MW3, so there's no Black Ops 6 guns on this list. Um, I found these after the Season 4 and 4.5 update, and they're pretty fun to use in pubs. So without further ado, let's start. From the top, the first one is, and maybe a lot of people know by now, the FJX or the Intervention from MW2. I'm actually going to give you 2 builds for these, for this one. The first one's going to be more of the longer range build. You can use this on the big map and Rebirth, this build on both. It does have one-shot potential, so I'm not going to go through all the stats, but stats are up on the screen to kind of quickly look. It does have one-shot potential, I believe, at like 150 meters. Headshot, of course, but I don't know. It kind of is weird, like most of the snipers, excluding the HDR, but it is a lot of fun to use. It's kind of a nice in between of like the HDR slash Victus and the Car 98. So you got pretty quick ADS with good bullet velocity. So for this build, we're going to use the Sonic Suppressor L, Fahrenheit 29, FJX Kilo TAC, the RYL 33 laser, and then high velocity. And then for the second bonus FJX build, we're actually going to do more of like a quick scope build for strictly Rebirth. Do not use this on the big map. It's just kind of a fun one to use. I can't give you many details on this because it's actually part of a blueprint, and I think it's kind of like glitched out, so I'm missing an attachment. But if you have the blueprint, you can use the blueprint and then the attachments that are part of it. If you don't have the blueprint that makes it sound like the 2009 Intervention, then you can just use these 4 attachments and maybe fill in the 5th one on something to kind of boost the ADS speed. It's pretty inaccurate at range, but like close to medium range, it's a lot of fun to use on Rebirth, so I highly recommend if you want to switch it up. You can kind of think of it as like a really quick no stock car build, but maybe a little bit slower ADS, but a little bit more damage, and you can control it at medium range. Again, here are the quick details. Accuracy way down, fire rates up, and all that. Mobility kind of up, and ADS way up. So again, quick details. I never know how accurate this actually is or how to read it, but it's there for you if you want it. Moving on, and that's the only sniper included. Obviously, there's the Victus. I recently tried out the MCPR and the Cat if you're looking for something outside of the HDR. But we've got the Striker. Now, I'll actually include a bonus one here for the Striker. But this is like just the straight up SMG close to medium range build. Pretty straightforward. You got the Shadow, Jack Slash, 48 round mag, and the MK2 light stock, high grains, details really quick for you. And I'll actually pull this one into the firing range along with the other SMGs because I want you to be able to see the recoil on it. I'm just going to shoot it without controlling for recoil. It's pretty good. Controlling for recoil, very ever so slightly. It doesn't really move. So I think it's a fun one. Obviously, you're going to lose to LC10s pretty up close a lot of the time, but it's still a fun one to use. All right, moving on, we've got an AR, and we've got the M13B. This one got a big buff recently, I think in the season 4.5 update, and it is one of the better ARs to use, obviously in pubs. Jack Glassless, BT7, 14-inch Bruin, 60 round mag, and the D37 rear grip. For the barrel, actually, if you don't have the 14-inch, which I didn't when I went back to go use it, I would just throw on the XRK bow breaker until you unlock it. So you got that. And if you don't have that, well, then find another underbarrel. That kind of accounts for recoil and everything. But obviously the 14-inch is the way to go. Again, bring it into the firing range. Pretty good. I mean, you know, again, right now, especially with ARs being the way they are, there's no like, you know, Krig anymore. So it's a good option if you are playing pubs on Rebirth or Big Map. Quickly, the details here, you can go over those. And moving on to another awesome SMG from MW2, got the Vaznev, I believe it's pronounced. Pretty straightforward. Jack slash 45 true tech grip, however you say that stock, and then the 9mm high grain rounds. Quickly on the details, and then I'll bring it into the firing range. Okay. This is another one that's pretty good up close with very minimal recoil. So again, not controlling for recoil. Controlling for recoil just ever so slightly. Controlling for recoil. I would say compared to the Striker, the Vaznev is way better up close damage wise. But the Striker does a better job at distance. Okay. And then the last two, another AR, this one from MW3, the good old STG. It's not as good as it once was, but it did get a buff in the recent update. So it is, again, another viable AR to use in pubs. I go with the Choreo Eagle Eye. That's what I used to use on it. Or you can use the Jack Glassless. Costless break, I recommend. You can get away with the VT7 Spitfire, but I would recommend for recoil rat wise the Cassis break. Bruin heavy barrel, 50 round, and then the combo stock. Here's the details really quickly. And then we'll bring it into the firing range. Okay, not controlling for recoil. It's got some recoil, so you definitely want to control it a little bit. Not controlling it a lot, obviously, but it does make a difference. And then obviously you want to control it as much as you can. So if you're not controlling for recoil, you can kind of see the recoil pattern. So just a fun one. Again, it's for sure not like meta, but I would say more so for this one compared to like the M13B where you can get away with it on the big map. This is probably one that you're going to do better with on Rebirth compared to Verdansk. Okay. The last one is an SMG, another MW2 SMG. And then I'll go through this one and I'll actually go back and show you the FJX. So this one, you're going to do the Bruin Cubic Comp, the Jack Slash, 50 round, Bruin Flash V4 stock, and 9mm high grain rounds. Quickly on the details. Firing range, again, One without controlling for recoil and one with. Okay. Controlling. Perfect. That one I would say is somewhere in between the Vaznev and the Striker. If I had to rank the 3 SMGs, I would go Striker, Vaznev, then the BAS-B. It's just like another fun one to use if you want to switch it up. But the Striker probably and the Vaznev have less recoil. The Striker performs better at like medium ranges, the Vaznev at closer, and the BAS-P kind of in between that. Has like a little bit more range on it than the Vaznev, but the Vaznev performs better at closer ranges, and then the Striker kind of, I think, dominates them in all areas. Okay, and then let's take this one to the firing range. So this is like the quick one. You can see the ADS is pretty quick. It's got that OG sound to it. Here's like the aiming idle sway. There's a little bit of it. Obviously, you can control it. So it can one-shot headshot at certain ranges. Again, it's going to be close ranges. But if we go back to the long range, which again you can use on Rebirth and the big map, I will say, oh, it didn't change. Lovely. I will say the regardless with the FJX, you're going to do better getting, or you're going to have an easier time getting one-shot headshots on Rebirth just because of the play area. Why is it not switching? All right. Oh, it's because it's there. I hate that. Okay. Firing range. Again, this one. I'm going to show you something also. The firing range, if you use the firing range, you'll know it's just inaccurate and messed up. So it should easily one shot at 100 meters to the head. It doesn't in the firing range, but if you do take it out, you should be able to get a 100-meter headshot, one shot. But those are the 6 with a couple bonus builds in there for you. Again, are they the meta? No, you're better off using the HDR for sniping. But if you are looking for something to switch it up, especially on Rebirth, I highly recommend those builds. I would say the Striker is the most consistent on there, and the rest being, you know, medium consistency and just a lot of fun. So go ahead and try them out, compare stats. Again, have a good time with it. Appreciate you watching the video. Leave feedback below, and feel free to give me a like. Appreciate it, guys.